The 2025 Dallas Cowboys can win the Super Bowl. Yes, you heard that right, and let me tell you how they can. As we all know, the Chiefs versus Eagles is this year's Super Bowl, but in the 2026 season, the Cowboys are going to be in the Super Bowl. Let me tell you how. With the recent hiring of Brian Schottenheimer as a new Dallas Cowboys head coach, the Cowboys are going into the 2025 offseason with big expectations, and let's see what they're able to pick up. Going into the offseason this year, the Cowboys have many free agents, such as key players as Brian Anger, Jordan Lewis, Osa Odighizuwa, Rico Dowdle, Brandon Cooks, Zach Martin, and also many other key players. I believe that there only should be a handful of players that you should keep, such as Rico Dowdle, Trey Lance, Zach Martin, DeMarcus Lawrence, Osa Odighizuwa, Brian Anger, Jordan Lewis, and CJ Goodwin for the special teams. Everyone else in that list are all going to be free agents after the Cowboys don't select them to be in a new contract. Before we talk about the free agency additions the Cowboys should make, let's talk about what they should do in the draft and with the cap space right now. As you could tell, with the 12th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys should take Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, and with the rest of the picks, they should draft a wide receiver, a guard, tackle, linebacker, and some more cornerback help. The Cowboys should also take a quarterback out of the draft because he is able to learn behind Dak Prescott and get some years behind him before he can take the starting role once Dak retires. Now that we know who the Dallas Cowboys should take in the NFL draft this year, let's talk about restructuring contracts and also cutting some players. The first contract that the Cowboys should restructure is Dak Prescott's. If they are able to successfully restructure his contract, they can create up to $36 million in cap space. The next contract that should be restructured is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has a $35 million cap space hit for the up-and-coming season, but if the Cowboys are able to restructure it, they will gain about $20 million for the cap space. This next player isn't a contract restructuring, but it is a contract extension, and it is Micah Parsons. Parsons is in his last year of his rookie deal, and if he is able to sign a contract extension with the Cowboys will save to up to $17 million for the cap space. Some other key transactions the Cowboys need to make to create cap room would be restructuring Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, and Trayvon Diggs contracts. With this would create up to $20 million in the cap space also. The last transaction the Cowboys need to make would be cutting Terrence Steele post June 1st. With this cut, the Cowboys would have $14 million more in the cap space, and with all these transactions, the Cowboys would have up to $100 million in the cap space to use in free agency. Now that we talked about the NFL draft and what transactions the Cowboys need to make to have more money in the cap room, let's talk about what free agency players they should add to this roster. The first player the Cowboys should sign would be Patrick McCurry, a guard. He would replace either Zach Martin if he retired or didn't re-sign with the Cowboys, or with the recent cut of Terrence Steele, he would be able to replace them. This next player would only be acceptable if the Cowboys didn't re-sign Rico Dowdle, but if the Cowboys didn't re-sign him, a great pickup would be Najee Harris. In the backfield would be Najee Harris and Ashton Jeanty. Since DeMarvion Overshown might not return this whole season, or will either return very late, a great pickup would be Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane plays with so much emotion and passion, and he's also a great leader, so this would be a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. My next pickup would be Jarran Reed. If the Cowboys aren't able to re-sign Osa Odighizuwa or DeMarcus Lawrence, this is a much-needed pickup because their defensive line would be very weak without them, and he also had a great season with the Seattle Seahawks last year. Like Jarran Reed before, DJ Jones would be a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys if they aren't able to re-sign Osa Odighizuwa and DeMarcus Lawrence. But also, if they are able to re-sign them, these players would also be great depth pieces for the defensive linemen. If the Cowboys aren't able to sign Patrick McCarry, James Daniels would be a great pickup. He had a great year with the Pittsburgh Steelers stopping the run and with passing, so this would be a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys too. My last free agency pickup for the Dallas Cowboys in the 2025 offseason would be Amari Cooper. This would be a reunion for Cooper, and the Cowboys need really bad a wide receiver too. Even if the Cowboys draft a great wide receiver in a draft, a wide receiver too like Amari Cooper would be a big help to the team. I believe as Brian Schottenheimer as a new Cowboys head coach with the NFL draft and the free agency, the Cowboys are able to put a great season together and win the NFC East division once again. But as we all know, Jerry Jones gets the final say in every decision he makes with the Dallas Cowboys. And if he wants the Cowboys to have not a good, but an amazing season, and the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl and win it, he must follow all my steps. And if he does, the Cowboys will be the 2025-2026 Super Bowl champions.